This one is out. Oh, this is my old chair. I think I can just move here for the meeting. It won't make a difference.
Well, apparently not. It was working Monday. Oh, right there. Now it's on. Check 1, 2.
Check. Concerts, remember that? Are you guys ready? Good evening, everybody. We'll call this meeting to order. Special meeting of December 16th? 15th. I'm sorry. And Jennifer, first off, the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Actually, we do the call to order and then the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm a little confused. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jennifer, we call roll call, please.
Councilmember Bogue.
Here.
Councilmember Duncan. Councilmember Thorpe.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaver. Mayor Avila.
Here.
And I'd like to say City Attorney David Snow is attending remotely.
Welcome, Mr. Snow.
Good evening. Good evening.
Okay, now we'll have public comment, and comment will be reserved for items on the agenda only. Speakers have 3 minutes to say their piece. We have none, so we have no public comment. We have a consent items 1 through 5. Is there anybody want to pull anything off for discussion?
So if I may, Mr.
I'm sorry.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, respectfully request that we're able to give a brief staff report on item number 1, and then you would have the other 2 consent calendar items, and then a department report, which would be number 4. If council would allow staff to give a very brief report on the disaster declaration, that would be helpful.
Right, what did I see? Oh, I'm sorry. So it's consent items on 1 through 3.
Correct.
Okay. All right. If nobody wants to pull anything off for discussion,
Well, you want to do a quick report?
Yeah, but just literally 30 seconds, give
Okay.
you an update on the estimated costs of the event.
all right, sir.
Should I proceed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is the ratification of the disaster declaration for the recent storm event that city manager executed yesterday, 8 o'clock or thereabouts yesterday morning. As council's aware, we had a forecast for very high levels of rain, 6 to 7 inches, sometimes estimated or forecast 3/4 of an inch per hour. Fortunately, we didn't get quite that much rain. We got something like 2.5 inches of rain. So the damage was somewhat limited. We did have some damage, and we certainly had some costs associated with police and fire response. We had 1 rescue that I'm aware of, another that started off being a potential rescue where because the floods subsided, the lady was able to walk away, but we did have 1 rescue. Estimated costs to date is about $4,300 for the fire response, $7,400 for the police overtime primarily. Where we have some significant costs we're anticipating is the cleanup costs for some of the drainage easements that have been accepted by the city for maintenance and also some of the street cleanup. And so that is estimated to be in excess of $100,000, and we'll refine that estimate over the next day or so in looking at those areas in more detail. But it definitely could be over $100,000 in street and drainage cleanup. In particular, Spore Creek had a lot of flow, ended up near Bryant Street, creating some deposits there, and a number of other locations. I would like to say that our basins served us very well. We definitely had flows in our basins, flows across Pendleton Drive, and so those systems downstream there, Oak Glen Creek Basin, and even the Wilson 3 Basin, which isn't completed yet, was holding quite a bit of water. So those things all worked out in our favor. Happy to answer any questions you may have beyond that.
Was Wilson 3 full of debris, or was it?
It just water. The debris was pretty, well, I shouldn't say that. There was debris in Wilson 3 because the channel isn't completed yet. And so you've got some debris in the Wilson 3 basin just from the erosion in the channel itself, but not a lot of debris coming from upstream.
Okay.
Councilmember Thorpe, do you have anything to ask?
No, sir.
In terms of declaring a disaster or anything, has there been any suggestions from the county maybe that they might do that, local emergency?
They did. They declared, we declared. We'll certainly pursue funding. It was a fairly short-term event, obviously, only a day long. So we'll see how that response comes to us. But certainly, we're going to go through OES and make a request for reimbursement for the costs. And again, the majority of the costs are going to be cleanup costs at this point. So,
Okay, thank you, sir.
thank you.
All righty.
With that, I will move consent items 1 through 3.
I'll second.
All right, motion to approve the consent items. Any discussion? Hearing none? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, ayes have it. Moving on to item number 4, department report. For project management services for Tyler Muniz Finance System Phase 2 and Human Capital Management Phase 1 implementation.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you are aware, the finance component of the Tyler Muniz implementation is underway, and Go Live Technologies was retained to provide project management services to support the city implementation efforts for Phase 1A of the project. With the resignation of the City Information Systems Manager, who was designated as the internal project lead, city staff has had ongoing discussions with Go Live regarding subject matter expertise, resources, expectations, and the overall support needed at this time to ensure successful implementation of all of the phases to come. Based on the outcome of these discussions, it is staff's recommendation that the amendment to the PSA, which is a professional services agreement with Go Live, in the amount of $201,200 not be executed. To ensure the city meets the implementation and phase deliverable timelines identified in the Tyler contract, staff reached out to other cities in California that are currently implementing or have recently completed the implementation of the Tyler Muniz ERP and EnerGov systems. SDI was referred by several cities and organizations around our area. Based on their competitive rate, experience implementing Tyler ERP and EnerGov systems in the region, subject matter expertise, and urgency to maintain the deadlines by the Tyler contract, staff recommends that SDI be retained for project management services for this phase. The costs associated with the recommended action will be utilized from within the $201,000 amount previously approved by council for the unexecuted agreement with Go Live. The recommendation before you this evening is that you find the public interest will not be best served by formal proposal process, waive the formal solicitation and proposal qualifications, and award and authorize the city manager to execute an agreement with SDI Presence LLC in the amount of $117,000 for project management services for Finance System Phase 2 and Human Capital Management Phase 1 implementation. That's all I have at this time, unless you have any questions for me.
Thank you, Jen. Excuse me. Thank you, Jennifer. Any questions or comments for staff?
No.
Hearing none. Hear a motion?
I'll so move.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. If no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none? Okay, moves us over to announcements. Any announcements from the dais?
No.
Any announcements from staff?
I would like to, number one, say happy holidays, Merry Christmas to council and staff. But number two, let council know, the community know that we are posting our facilities to be consistent with the state mandates that were recently implemented today, actually. But they are going to be self-regulated, shall we say. So they will be posted at all of our facilities.
And we are closed next week, I believe.
That's
City Hall will
correct,
be
yes.
closed. And if nothing else, I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. And we'll see you next January for another wonderful and progressively moving forward, not progressive politically, but our community is coming back, and I'm very proud of Yucaipa. Thank you so much, everybody. Our meeting is adjourned.
Happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas.